Ready whenever you are, Michael.
It's been a long time since these music-themed biopics became all the rage. Bohemian Rhapsody, despite being a complete lie, showed us, hey, that's a good idea, and efforts like Rocket Man, Elvis, and A Complete Unknown made it abundantly clear, give us big, bombastic shows, and anything else, be damned. Don't get me wrong, those are all good movies, but if you compare it to something like Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, we see how it's perceived. It's not just the box office, most people simply don't want anything that diverges from that formula. So how is it that Michael has somehow become the worst received biopic since fucking Stardust? I think I have the answers. It may not be a movie that opens by saying what you're about to see is bullshit. In fact, it's the exact opposite. You got Jaafar Jackson playing Michael. We knew the pandering was coming, but while Bohemian Rhapsody intentionally bastardized a notably decent individual for no good reason, Michael is basically a playlist. The greatest hits playlist. If you love his music, you'll undoubtedly somewhat enjoy this movie. I'm not exactly a super fan, so it wasn't enough for me, but if you compare it to other biopics such as Elvis that had a unique style, I don't think this is all that unique. The music performances are okay, I'm not saying they're bad, but given it's almost all the movie gives us, well, let's just say they're not selling it.
Damn.
The biggest issue with Michael compared to all the other biopics, even Bohemian fucking Rhapsody, which was trash, is the way the movie fails to give us anything that deep. I mean, yeah, we see Michael go through some stuff, but for the most part, he's kind of just a great guy, no real issues to be had. And the main conflict is his father, Joe Jackson, who is amazingly played by Colman Domingo, but the way the movie portrays it doesn't really work. We see him acting abusive one time throughout the whole movie, and that's blatantly forced. The rest is just him being strict. The fact is, it was a lot worse than what we see here. I don't know why they feel the need to hide that. And through his career, the main issue wasn't so much him getting involved, but more so the traumatizing effect it had. Yeah, the Victory Tour was still a thing, he was somewhat forced into it, but that's the funny thing about the movie. It doesn't really have lies in it, maybe a few. It's debatable if MTV was really racist or just not wanting to play that kind of music at the time, but the inconsistencies come down to what's not shown. The opening of the movie with young Michael is almost all music, you can hardly even get through a minute without another song playing, and when it finally picks up, it's still the same thing. When I think of sympathizing with Michael, the whole missing out on childhood thing does come to mind. I think South Park got into that. It's briefly hinted at, but not really, just because his dad worked him hard isn't enough. I mean, how do you not get into that? You get iconic moments like the creation of Thriller, along with iconic songs like Thriller and Beat It. You should have gotten somebody to play Eddie Van Halen, even mention his guitar solo. What the fuck? Maybe go into a bit more detail on how you got those two rival gangs together to make that video, but the movie isn't really interested in that. So if you don't know who they are, you're not gonna get the significance. Let's just consider that for a moment, the issue with this. Michael, at the time, was so big, rival gangs were willing to dance together, and yet, if you only watch the movie, you're hardly gonna get the memo. It's completely downplayed. It skips and downplays major controversies. I didn't expect them to get into the serious stuff way later. The movie doesn't even go on that long. I know, aside from later events, he was known as a good person, but if you've seen Rocket Man, and if you've seen A Complete Unknown, there are ways to balance this without making you hate them. It doesn't even attempt to dig deep. It's like he's a mythical figure who could do no wrong, who was perfect immediately, who had a slight daddy issue. If it wasn't downplayed, that'd be one thing, but in the movie's context, you'd probably tell him to fuck off. He isn't threatening in this. It doesn't make sense why you'd even care what he thought. Ideally, if you watch the movie, you'll know who Michael is. Maybe they think you'll fill in the blanks, but I don't buy that excuse. You still have to make the biopic look right and depict things realistically. I don't see that here.
They couldn't do it!
Aside from the solo debut not really being the solo debut, they don't get things historically wrong, they're just not portrayed in a realistic manner. The main thing is definitely glossing over what his father really did. That's inexcusable. It doesn't work as a conflict because they did that, and as a result, all we have left is the greatest hits reel. A tribute, as you may call it. The movie was basically deemed this before it even came out. Like Bohemian Rhapsody, it follows a basic biopic format, and while I do hate that more because it lied so blatantly and was just disgusting in its portrayal, at least it had structure. Like a story arc. This doesn't even have that, it's just the events you know have to be shown, being shown. Yeah, the big shows depicted are fine and fun to watch, but toward the end, we just get a bunch of those in a row. The movie literally ends on 3 of them, 3 notable songs, on a big stadium, like, we love it. The first 2 songs are okay, they fit into the story that's only slightly embellished, but the 3rd song, maybe if you really like the music, but that shouldn't be a necessity. I don't by any means dislike the music. If it's on, I'll listen, but usually when I watch a biopic, I feel something. I get something out of it. Even if Tarantino hates them, I guess I kinda see what he's getting at. When you make the entire film and music numbers, empty scenes, nothing remotely deep, rinse and repeat, you don't get any emotional impact. You just wanna be him. That's not what this should be. It's like what Will Smith wanted with After Earth. When you're sick of the music numbers by the end and seeing how great Michael is, you know they've done something terribly wrong. I won't deny Jaafar Jackson is quite impressive. The only really good thing about this, well, that and Joe's portrayal, at least acting-wise. It's funny too because I initially thought he didn't look enough like him. In the end, I am sold on that, but it should be noted, you're not really hearing him sing in this. That's understandable, I'm not complaining, but despite how mad you might be about the ballad and opera comment, you can't deny Chalamet had the harder feat. And personally, I don't give a shit about the ballad and opera comments. People need to grow the fuck up, I say. And while you're at it, check out the gaming channel. It's linked down below, a variety of gaming content. In the end, Michael doesn't have the personal deep impacts of a Complete Unknown or Rocket Man. It lacks the unique stage shows we saw in Elvis, and even basic story structure that Bohemian Rhapsody still gave us is for the most part absent here. You do get well-acted supporting characters, a number of decent scenes, but not enough. Nothing is enough. It's just music. If that's what you want, you'll enjoy this movie, but when you literally name it Michael, I expect a lot more.
And you wasted my time!
I just thought we were past this shit. If you want to see anything like this, check out music videos or live shows on YouTube. That's free. Actually going to the theater for this, that's a waste of money. But if you do, let me know what you thought about Michael down in the comments. I cannot make you like the video, subscribe, share it if you can, but if you do, it'd be appreciated because the algorithm doesn't do anything. It recommends videos to people who don't care. Might want to hit the bell too if you do subscribe because notifications, recommendations, it's all fucking broken. I'm the cinema analyst, because somebody has to be.